Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Florence Amwaribu. How are you all doing? Hope you all are doing great. So today's video I'll be showing us how to sew a keyhole detachable yoke blouse with balloon sleeve. Before we go ahead, I really want to appreciate each and every one of us supporting your girl. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. For the newcomers, thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining the channel. You will enjoy it here. So the first thing I will go ahead to do is that's my pattern paper. So I will go ahead and divide the shoulder into two, which is 18 divided by 2 gives us 9, and I will add ½ inch to the stitching allowance. Then I will go in to get the neck width 3 inches and neck depth of 3 inches. With the help of my French cup, I will connect the 2 points, the neck width and the neck depth point, and I will connect and make a curve like so. Next, I will be going down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant, connecting the shoulder slant to the neck width with the help of my ruler. Now I will get my armhole length, which is 8.5, and that will be our chest line. I will use a ruler to make a straight line. Now is the chest bust point, which is 11.5, and I will connect that with the ruler also. Now I will take a ruler and make a straight line at the armhole. Now I will divide the armhole by 2, which gives us 4.25, and I will go in by 0.5 like so. You can use your French curve to connect your points to make your curve armhole, but before then I will get my bust circumference, which is 41 inches divided by 4. I will add my stitching allowance 1.5, and I will connect that to the, you can use the French curve if you want to, but I'll be using a freehand sketch to connect that to the midpoint at the armhole, then to the shoulder slant like so. I will input the bust circumference also at the bust line, which is 41 divided by 4. Add 1.5 inches for stitching allowance. At this point, I will get the length of the blouse, which is I'll be using 15 inches, everything in total, with inclusive with the stitching allowance. I use 15 inches. So at this point I'll be getting the length of the yoke, so I'll be using 5 inches for that's for the front. And remember we are cutting the front panel, so that's I'll be using 5 inches at that point that we want it to curve, right? At the point that you want it to curve, I used 5 inches right there. I'll just give it the kind of trace that 5, you can see that 5 inches right there. So the next thing I'll be getting is the waist measurement, which is 39 inches. I divided it by 4. I added 1.5 inches for stitching allowance, so as to enable us to give the blouse a shape. So I just connected it like so. At this point, at the length of the blouse, I will connect it to meet the 5 inches. You can see with the help of my French cuff, I just use that, connect that 5 inches to the length of the blouse. After that, I will just go ahead and cut it out. So I will not be cutting out the cuff out because I'll be using the front panel to cut out the back part. I'll use it to cut out the back, right? You just place the front pattern like so on black pattern paper so as to cut out the back. Remember to put your zipper allowance just the way you see me place it. You can see my zipper allowance at that point. So I will just use it. I place it on so like so, and I will trace it out. Actually, I wanted to cut it out, but I decided to use my marker to trace it out first before cutting it out with the scissors. Once again, remember to put your zipper allowance when you are cutting it out. So at this point, I will take out the front panel because I want to eliminate the bulge at the back. So I will be going in by 1.5 inches just to eliminate the bulge at the back, just like so. I'm using 1.5 inches. So I will just connect that I went in. I'll connect it up with the help of my ruler. You just see the way I will trace it up. I will connect it up. I will make it 2 like so because that is our zipper allowance, right? We have to give it that shape. The zipper allowance, you also have to give it that shape like so. We are having 1.5. Now since we came in, we have to replace it on the side. We'll add that 1.5 inches on the side, okay? Because since we are taking it out at the zipper allowance, you have to replace it. If not, your blouse will be short. So we replace it in by adding in back the 1.5 and connect it to the bust line like so. Now we're done. We just have to cut it out. Cut it out like so. That's the way it's looking, guys. Now we'll go ahead and cut out that curve at the front. Just cut it out. We'll finish using it to cut out the back. Just cut out like so. That's it. That's the way it's looking. I've gone ahead to cut it on the fabric I will be using, the black fabric I will be using. That's the way it's looking. I cut out the fabric, cut out the lining also. Now I will be placing the front panel, the front and the lining, and I will stitch it together. I will stitch like so. At that point, I will stitch on the neckline round, and I will also stitch at the cuff point line like so. Also, I will go ahead and do the back pattern. Also, cut with the lining, I will cover up the fabric. I will sew the lining onto the back. Also, place the lining, the good side with the good sides facing each other, and I will stitch on it, turn it, give it a good press. I've added attached the zipper to it. Like you can see the zipper I attached to it, so I end up adding a little dart at the back so as to give it a good shape. So that's the way it's looking, guys. Here is the front panel. I'll be placing the front panel together with the back panel. The back panel, I will hold on to the shoulder. I placed it just to ensure that it is equal and is fixed together. I will hold it on like that. Now I'll be cutting out the hand. This is just a freehand sketch for the hand, for the balloon hand. I folded the pattern paper into two, so I'll be using 9.5 for this. I measured 9.5 inches, so I will go down. I went down by 3 inches, just the way you see me do, and I want to ensure that it is 9.5 inches at that same point, at that 3 inches also. Now I'll be taking the length. The length actually is should be around 10 inches, but you add, because it's balloon hand, you will add about 3 or 4 inches just to give it that puffy look. So this is the length, actually is 10 inches. So I think no, 10 inches, yes. Then I'll be adding I added 5.5 inches to it. Five and a half inches to it, just to give it that puffy look. Okay, that's the allowance I added to it because of its balloon hand. So the circumference of my hand is 13.5. So I added that, divided by 2, add your stitching allowance. So I will connect the like so to the length of the sleeve, and at this point I will just shape the hand like so. Its balloon hand is you're just gonna be cutting it with a slash, using the slash method. So I will cut it out like so. Now I will open it up and I will measure 1.5 inches like so, because we are going to be using cut and slash method. We'll be using slash method to cut this balloon hand. So I used 1.5 to cut. So I will extend this line up like so with the help of a ruler. I will extend it like so. So I'm not going to slash it now. Normally I place it on the fabric that I will be using, then I will start to slash it, because I don't want to slash and I'll come back to resetting it on the fabric. So what I do, I place it on the fabric and I slash. At this way you will not be able to set it once. Okay, place it on the fabric like so. You can see the way I'm setting it on the fabric. I will keep on sliding it and setting it on the fabric, after which I will go ahead and cut out the shape of the hand. I will be placing using a gum stay on this because I want the balloon hand to to stand. I don't want it to fall. So this is the way it's looking after attaching the stay on it. So this is the finished top. I see the way it is. There's the finished yoke that we just made. So it's time to attach the balloon hand. So before then, we'll go ahead and turn the hand, the sleeve with the lining. After attaching your say, I will now turn the sleeve with the lining, placing the lining on the sleeve like so, and I'll go ahead and I will sew just right there, sew it straight down on both sides. I'll turn it. This is the way it's looking after giving it a good press. You can see the way it's looking. I've turned it with the lining. Now I will be stitching because I'm using 1-inch elastic, because I'm using elastic, right? So I will stitch at that point. Make sure that the stitch is stitched in such a way that it will accommodate your elastic, right? So after stitching that, I will not go ahead and pleat the hand, the upper part of the hand like so, to give it that puffy look, that balloon shape. That's the way it's looking like so. Now I've gone ahead to stitch the sides of the elastic I'm using. I will pass the elastic with the help of my safety pin, and I will pass it like so. If you have watched up to this point and you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to my channel. I will always have on my channel I make a complete tutorial explanation on what is being sewn on. You see on my channel. You can see the way it's looking, guys. So after inserting the elastic, I will just go ahead, hold it on there like so, and stitch it down. Here is the balloon hand, the way it's looking. You can see how puffy and it stands. It's not going to fall because of the elastic that we attached to it. It will stay puffy. So I will go ahead, I'll measure out the shoulder before attaching it. I normally measure my shoulder one more time. I will measure it like so, cross check it that the shoulder length. After which I will go ahead and attach the balloon sleeve. Thank you all for watching. I will do interlock on that. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye bye.